Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Chazak event. I will speak as usual about a few different topics, Ezra Hashem. We are in a very interesting time now between Pesach and Shavuot. Already 23 days into the Omer. Today we just count today 23 days. And according to the Torah and the Zohar, it's a preparation for the acceptance of the Torah. Every day we go another step higher towards receiving the Torah, and especially it's going to be the last 3 days, which is going to be the special preparation that the nation of Israel had before they received the Torah. It's very, very not recommended to forget to count one night. Now, I'm not talking for the ladies, I'm talking for the guys. Because once you forget the whole cycle of 24 hours to count, that's it. You cannot count anymore with bracha. You can count without bracha, but you cannot say the bracha anymore. But either way, it's a one long mitzvah that starts in Pesach and ends in Shavuot, preparation for Matan Torah. Also, we see, very interesting, what's happening in these days in the world. We see that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not happy, is not satisfied from what's happening all over the world. One tragedy after the other. You know, some tragedies, they look worse than what they are, and some tragedies, they look less than what they are. For instance, when you have a tsunami, everybody understands it's a major tragedy. 500,000 people died, houses, buildings, all washed off, you know, with the people, so everybody understands. Not that many people understand what just happened in Europe, that this volcano exploded, and for about a week it's smoking all over Europe, and they lost close to $2 billion, the airlines, close to $2 billion in 1 week. And millions of people are sleeping on the street. You don't get it. Try to imagine the airport. Try to imagine Kennedy. You walk in and you have 500,000 beds all over and people sleeping one next to the other, like a military camp. This is what's happening in all over the airport. Not everyone can afford to go to hotels, and you know how it is. When 1,000 people come to get a room, there's only 1 or 5 rooms left, they triple the prices, or maybe 10 times more. So only the rich people can go to the hotels. All the ordinary people, they sleep on the streets, in the parks, on the benches. If the Europeans only know that all the problems come to them because of their anti-Semitism, maybe they'll change their attitude. Yes, because they are, most of them, the Zera Amalek, and they're not exactly in love with the Jews, and they made us many, many problems throughout history, and even now. They're pro-Arab, they're pushing the Arabs to take over Israel. You see what's going on. There's a lot of demonstrations over there against Israel all the time, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu once in a while punch them to wake them up. Even the Goyim gets warning. You know, sometimes we don't really have an understanding what a Goy is. For some reason, I don't know how it got like that, but for some reason most religious Jews, they think that, you know, like, okay, we are the Jews, we are the chosen people, and the rest, it's nothing. It's not important. It's not true. It's not really true. You have to know, I always say that in the past, in my lecture, people have to understand. It's not so simple to think that someone, just because his mother is Miriam or Hannah and she's Jewish, but he doesn't keep any of the laws of the Torah, that is anything better than a Goy. You should know that. The next time when you see Ahmed or Chris walking in the street, don't underestimate them. Maybe this Ahmed and this Chris is higher than you in Shamayim. And it's not a joke. Why? Some of the Goyim that I meet throughout my work, I get a lot of emails and phone calls, and sometimes they come to the lectures even. Many of them are decent people, simple, honest, love God, searching for the truth. They were very misfortunate. They grew up in some neighborhood that they didn't know anything about the truth. From the minute they're born, they fed them with Jesse Penny every second, from the minute they're born, and that's all they know. They don't know how to pray to Hashem without connecting through that false Messiah. They don't know anything. One day they open up their eyes and they have to start from zero. It's not so simple. Some of them willing to sacrifice a lot from their personal life just to become either Jewish or to become righteous Gentiles. Now I want to tell you something. You know, what's great about the Torah is that you can talk as much as you want as a speaker, as a rabbi. If you don't supply with the proof, everything you say is worthless. It's like dust in the wind. I always like, when I say something that sounds a little bit, you know, like a doubt, to supply my sources. Why? Because I know what's going to happen. Tomorrow all the people who watch it in a website, when they're going to say, what is this guy talking about? Where is he bringing it from? That's not what we learn. That's not what we heard from that rabbi. Or when I was in school, that's not what the rabbi said. So I'm going to tell you my sources. For the next time you understand that there's really no discrimination. You get exactly what you deserve based on your efforts, whether you're a Jew, whether you're a non-Jew. You have to know that. I give you an example. The Gemara, which is the foundation of the oral Torah, that's where it's all come. That's the first time it was written. It's the Mishnah and the Gemara. That's our source. Every halacha that you do today comes from the Mishnah and the Gemara. If you wouldn't have Mishnah and Gemara, you wouldn't have Shulchan Aruch. We wouldn't know anything what to do. We wouldn't know even how to circumcise a baby. So, just let me read some of the Gemarot in different places to get us an understanding how does it work. First, the Gemara says, Kol Israel yesh lahem chelek laolam haba. This is Gemara in Sanhedrin. Also in Pirkei Avot it appears. Why the Gemara say Kol Israel? Kol. It's an extra word. They had to say Israel yesh lahem chelek laolam haba. Every other place when they refer to the Jews, they just say Israel. Israel af al pi shechata Israelu. A Jew, even though he makes sins, is still a Jew. He cannot lose his identity. He's still a Jew. He cannot say, oh, I want to become a Muslim. Cannot be. You're a Jew, whether you like it or not, you're stuck with that. That's it. It's about time for you to learn how lucky you are. If you didn't do it by now, you have a very serious problem. But over here it says, Kol Israel. The Gemara say, Lerabot, to include Chasidei Umot HaOlam, to include the righteous goyim, that they also have a share to the world to come. The righteous goyim, we're going to find out what does it mean to be a righteous goy soon. The righteous goyim has a share to the world to come. I have news for you. Right in the end of this Mishnah, the Mishnah begins to describe who are the Jews who lost their share to the world to come, God forbid. Among them, briefly, a Jew that is not Shomer Shabbos, automatically he loses share to the world to come. A Jew that worship an idol, he loses share to the world to come. You understand what we're talking here about here? A Jew that said that I don't believe that all the Torah is divine. Maybe some of it, but the rabbis made all kinds of extensions and additions. Somebody that talks like that, it's called an apikors. He has no share to the world to come. A Jew that say, I don't believe that the Messiah will come. I don't believe it. The rabbis made it up, this whole concept about Mashiach. Or the prophet made it up. I don't care. I don't believe it's possible. He loses share to the world to come. Even if he eats kosher. Yeah, we have to understand how serious is some of the things we may say. I don't believe in the oral Torah. I believe in a written Torah, but I don't believe in the oral Torah. He loses share to the world to come. Someone who say, I don't think Moses was 100% reliable. I think some of the laws he made up. He loses share to the world to come. A Jew that say, I don't believe in the resurrection of the dead. You really believe that a skeleton that is 500 years in a grave can get up and say, hi, good morning? You really believe that? One Roman asked the Chachamim this question. Rabbis, come on, you're very intelligent people. You have so much knowledge. We expect a little more from you. Do you really believe that this body that is in a grave for hundreds of years one day will wake up? Come on. So the answer was, how did you come to the world? The rabbi said to this guy, how did you come to this world? How you were created? From a drop of liquid. One drop of liquid made you. Look at you. 6 feet tall, eyes, brain, 10 trillion connection, ligaments, muscles, blood, millions of cells, DNA, all came from one drop. Logically, it's possible from a drop of a liquid, any kind of liquid, that a person with trillions of miracles in him every second will come to the world with a divine soul, with ability to remember, to see. You know how many miracles happen in every second that your eyes is working? If you only knew how many miracles happen every time you open your eyes and you see one picture. There are billions of things that going into the brain, and the brain analyze them to show the person a balanced picture with all the anchors, with all the colors, with measurements. Hard to believe. So something like this came from a drop of blood, from a drop of liquid. So from a drop, a person came. From a skeleton, it's already 50% ready. It's less of a miracle. The guy didn't make a beep after that. He got it. So I give you an example. So the Gemara says, to include the righteous goyim. Where do we see it? The Rambam, which is the source of most of the Shulchan Aruch. Almost everything is Rambam. Remember, Shulchan Aruch is almost everything Rambam. The Yemenites go only by the Rambam. That was the Rav. When Shulchan Aruch was written, the Yemenites still is Rambam. You understand? Most of the Shulchan Aruch anyway, it's Rambam. Rambam Perek Gimel Ilchot Shuvah. Maybe the most famous chapter in the Rambam is the laws of repentance. Every preacher and every rabbi probably taught it hundreds of times in his lifetime to his students. So it's a very classical perek, chapter. Halacha A, the 5th halacha. And also in Yalkut Yeshaya, this is what it says. Kohanecha ilbeshu tzedek. We say in the prayers, we say this pasuk. Kohanecha ilbeshu tzedek. Who is Kohanecha ilbeshu tzedek? We have to understand. We say it 1,000,000 times in our lifetime and we don't understand. They say, the Rambam writes, and the Midrash writes, Elu chasidei umot haolam. Those are the righteous goyim from all over the world. That they are like Kohanim to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu loved these goyim like they are Kohen. How we love the Kohen, we give him all kinds of benefits, right? They are כמו כהנים לקדוש ברוך הוא בעולם הזה, in this world. ובתנא דבי אליהו, there's a famous book, תנא דבי אליהו, it's based on what Eliyahu Hanavi told us some of the secrets. פרק ט', chapter 9, this is what it says. מעיד אני עלי שמיים וארץ. I put heaven and earth to be my witness. That whether a Jew, whether it's a goy, whether it's a man, whether it's a woman, whether it's a male slave, whether it's a female slave, it's all depend on what your actions are and nothing else. No discrimination whatsoever. You understand? So the next time you look at Ahmed or Chris or Bruce Lee or Fatma, don't underestimate them so fast. They may be more righteous than you. They may be more faithful to God than us, even though they only have to keep 7 laws. It sounds very easy. You should not kill, you should not steal, believe in one God, don't eat raw animal from an animal before the animal died, have yourself a system of police and courts and obey the rules. It sounds like easy laws. That's not 100% precise, because they also are obligated to keep every law that makes sense. Common sense. For instance, if you walk on the street and you finish your ice cream, you're not allowed to throw the paper on the floor. That's the laws of every normal state. It's common sense. By doing it, you're making other people agony and aggravation. Somebody has to clean it, to bend down to clean it, no? So that's a logical law. You don't have to be religious to know it. So they are obligated to keep it. Respect your father and mother. It's not one of their 7 laws. But every foolish guy knows that he has to respect his parents. Even the monkeys knows it. You saw in the Bronx Zoo how the monkeys always hug their parents? So they know it. They don't have Torah, the monkeys, but they know it. So definitely Vinny and Richie also know it. Especially if their father is from the mafia and is sitting ahead of the table, they have no choice. But anyway, the Torah says, and this is the conclusion of this, everything according to his actions, Ruach HaKodesh Shora Alav. The spirit of the holiness of God is among him. Whether he's a Jew, whether he's a goy, whether he's a male, whether he's a female, whether he's a slave male, whether he's a female slave, if he's righteous, if he's faithful to God, if he's grateful, if he obeys the rules, here you go. He becomes a righteous person. And he has a share to the world to come. The Gemara in Masechet Sanhedrin Nuntet. In the same page, the Gemara said that a goy is not allowed to observe the Sabbath. It's not allowed. And in the same page, the Gemara said that a goy is not allowed to learn Torah, which refer to the laws of the Jews, the special laws that God gave to the nation of Israel. General Torah, they're allowed to learn. They're allowed to learn how the creation of the world happened, how God created the world. They're allowed to create some of the things, general knowledge about the life, about the world, 100%, no problem. But they're not allowed to dig into the specific laws like Hilchot Shabbat, the laws of the blessing, the laws of all kinds of Beis Din of the Jews, things that refer only to the Jews. It's not their territory. And not only that they're not allowed to learn it, it's kind of even dangerous for them. I had a black woman in one of my lectures 10 years ago in Brooklyn. When I came to the lecture, I saw that everyone is a Jew there, and one black woman, not Jewish. And I saw her from her accent that she's not Jewish. So I asked the owner of the house, she came to the lecture or she happened to be here? He said, no, she's crazy about Judaism. She knows Torah more than you and me together, he tells me. I said, what do you mean? She said, all day she learns, she even learns Hebrew, she can understand what we talk about now. So I said, did she convert? He said, not yet. I said, well, I have to be honest, I have to tell her the truth. You know, I didn't write the Torah. Hashem said, the Goyim are not allowed to learn what I'm going to teach you tonight. So I told her to her, quietly in the kitchen. And she smiled, she said, no, I already consider myself more than a Jew. That's it, I don't have any other beliefs or anything like that. I learned for a few years, you know, I learn every day. The next day she became paralyzed. Another joke. The next day she became paralyzed. The guy called me up screaming on the phone, you're not going to believe what happened. Her whole left side of her body, she cannot move. I don't know what was the end of that story. If she ever recuperate from that or not, I don't know. But just to give you an idea, we cannot swear that that's the reason. It could be for different reasons, I don't know. But I'm just telling you something that happened about 10 years ago. So the Torah says it's a danger for them. Whatever they're not supposed to learn, they're not allowed to learn. Because this is a gift of God to his nation, to his children. The sad part is that God gave us such a gift, and millions of us, they're not even interested to open it. What a shame, huh? You get a gift from the king of the world, and you leave it on the shelf in your house for 18, 19 years, you don't even open it, it's full of dust. The pages are glued together already from the humidity. By the time you come to open it, it became one page, the whole book. So the Gemara in the same page, Sanhedrin 59, page 59, listen to every word. It's about time to know the truth, not just to hear all kinds of what we like to hear. Menayin, how do we know, the Gemara say, Shafilu goy sheosek b'Torah? How do we know that a goy that learns the Torahs that applies to him, the 7 laws of Noach, the 7 laws that God gave Noach after the flood 4,200 years ago, that he is like a Kohen Gadol, that he is like a high priest in a holy temple. Do you know what does it mean, Kohen Gadol? It's the most important person in the world, in case you didn't know. It's the only person who are permitted to enter Kodesh HaKodashim for a few minutes a year. And if he has one bad thought inside, he falls and dies. And they have to pull a rope. They connect it to his feet. In case he dies, nobody is allowed to enter, so they pull his body outside. You got it? So Goy, that sits and learns what's my obligation in life, and he loves God and is righteous and he keeps the laws, for God is like a Kohen Gadol. We can dream to be like a Kohen Gadol. So we see it's not so simple. See, there's no discrimination like some may think, but it gets even better. The Torah say, שנאמר in Vayikra, Leviticus 18, אלה המצוות אשר יעשה אותם האדם וחי בהם. This is the mitzvot, the laws, that a human being will do it, and thanks to that he will inherit life. Every time the Torah says life, the Torah doesn't refer to temporary life here. The dogs also have life, but they don't keep mitzvot. The dogs don't keep any laws, right? So the Torah says, those are the mitzvot that the human being, not the Jew, יעשה אותם האדם. Everyone. You understand? And he would inherit life of eternity, a share to the world to come. And the Gemara in Masechet Chulin, Tzadik Bet, page 82, the Gemara says, there are righteous people among the nations that the world exists thanks to them. They are going in a world that they are so important and so righteous in the eyes of God that thanks to them the world exists. Not only thanks to the rabbis and all the Talmidei Chachamim as we know, that's obvious. The Gemara says it in hundreds of places that the Torah maintained the world. We have to say the truth. Judaism is the truth, not what you like to hear. My biggest fear is that Judaism become like Islam, that you go on Friday to the mosque and you hear all the nonsense, nothing what the Quran say. They'll never teach them in a mosque that the nation of Israel belongs to Israel according to the Quran. They'll never show it. They never show in the Quran that God said that in case you have a question from the Quran, you have to ask the Jews because they got a reliable book before you. For me, that God says. They don't show that parts. They only show what they want to create a war and take away everything we have. What about the truth? If you really claim you're a follower of God, it doesn't bother you what God thinks about you. You know that you're a liar. When you preach to your listeners in the mosque over there in Saudi Arabia or in Gaza or in Iran, they know the truth because when they learn it before the lecture, they read that God said that the Jews are the most important and the land belongs to them. So why you never hear it from them? Why in the Torah you hear Lashon Hara about all the leaders and all the king, but you will never find one bad comment against JC and against Muhammad in any of the Islam books and in any of the Christianity books? Never. Because it's a man-made books. Somebody wrote it and he wasn't interested that people will know the negative comments about them. So he got it off the book. It's not in the book. But in the Torah you have everything, the good and the bad. Why? It's the truth. The truth of God cannot be modified. So the Torah says, Chaviv Adam shenivra betzelem. Hashem say, I like people because I created them in my image, spiritual image. God doesn't have a shape, a nose, eyes, ears, hair, beard. He doesn't have it. He's not physical, right? The Gemara in Masechet Sanhedrin, page 21. We're going to learn a lot, Bezrat Hashem, tonight. The Gemara says, Amar Rabbi Yossi, one of the Tanaim, ראוי היה עזרא שתינתן תורה על ידו. עזרא הסופר, עזרא, he deserved to be the one who bring the Torah to the nation of Israel. But tough luck, Moshe Rabbeinu came before him in history. So Moshe got the merit, because Moshe also deserved. But if Moshe wouldn't be born, the next one after Moshe that would give us the Torah would be Ezra, 700 years after Moshe. Why? Open Ezra chapter 7, that's what it says over there. כי עזרא הכין לבבו לדרוש את תורת השם וללמד בישראל חוק ומשפט. Translation, because Ezra, every second of his life, purified his heart and prepared himself to come to speak to the nation of Israel, to teach them the Torah of Hashem. He gave his heart for that, to teach them the Torah of Hashem and to teach them the laws and the orders, etc., etc. Not because he wanted to be famous, not because he wanted to make good money from the yeshiva that people will pay him tuition and become a millionaire. Not for that. He did everything for free. He felt that that's the mission of his life. That's why the Bible is praising him. You know, speaking about Kohen Gadol, I said that a righteous person that Hashem is satisfied from him is like a Kohen Gadol. I want you to know a little bit history. The Gemara says, Yoma, it's in Yoma chapter 9. Later when you review the lecture on the website, you can have all the sources and you can see inside. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan says, Mai dichtiv, what is it that it says? Irat Hashem tosif yamim, ushnot reshaim tiktzorna. Fear from Hashem will extend life, make your life longer. Ushnot reshaim tiktzorna, and the years of the wicked people will be shortened. That's the simple meaning. What's the secret? Every pasuk, every verse had a secret in it. Not only a simple understanding. This is what it means. This is the secret of this verse. Pay attention carefully. The first temple was standing for 410 years in Jerusalem over there where the Kotel is, and had only 12 Kohanim Gdolim. In 410 years, how many Kohen Gadol served in the first temple? Only 12. Which means, yes, which means average 40 years per Kohen, 30 something years, average. What does it mean? Veshnot reshaim tiktzorna, zeu bet hamikdash hasheni. This is the second temple that was standing 420 years, extra 10 years, 420 years. How many Kohanim Gdolim you had in a second temple? Give a guess. More than 300. More than 300. The first temple, 12. The second, more than 300, for almost the same amount of time. 410 years, 420 years, but it gets better. Listen carefully. From the 300 Kohanim Gdolim, we had some famous, legendary Kohanim Gdolim, very famous. Who are they? Not all of them were legendary. One of them was negative, but let's listen carefully. One of them, the most righteous one, Shimon HaTzadik. He was one of the leftover from Anshe Knesset HaGdolah. Close to 2,000 years ago, when Knesset HaGdolah finished their job, he was one of the ones who left from Knesset HaGdolah and moved on with the generation. He was a Kohen Gadol for 40 years. One Kohen Gadol was Yochanan Kohen Gadol. 80 years he was a Kohen Gadol. And in the end of his life, he became a kofer be'Hashem. He had some problems in his belief, in his faith, and he left everything. After 80 years, he was the most important person. That shows you that even if you become the chief rabbi of the world, and you are 90 years old, you cannot swear that tomorrow you'll be righteous. No guarantee until the minute you close your eyes. Only then we can write on your death certificate, righteous or wicked. Only Hashem can do it. We do not know. You understand? But as long as we are alive, chas v'shalom, we can lose everything. Then, so he was 80. So how much we have? Shimon 40, Yochanan 80. 122 people already took. Then we have Rabbi Ishmael ben Pavi, 10 years. So we already have 130 years are gone. Rabbi Elazar ben Charsom, 11 years. So 141 years are gone by only 4 Kohanim. Which means about 300 Kohanim were used in 279 years. Which means every Kohen Gadol other than those 4 didn't even finish 1 year. That's how bad they were. You understand? Why? Now you understand why for 2,000 years we don't have a third temple? We begin to understand now why. What's the point? If 2,000 years ago that was the face of the situation in the land, What do you expect today? Who are you going to put there? A politician? A member of the Israeli Knesset? Just because he had some beard and a yarmulke? You put him Kohen in Bet HaMikdash? The Kohanim that we have today, they come to the Birkat Kohanim 5 seconds before they start. They show up to the shul. Who are we going to send to the shul today? Yes. I see that I bothered you very much. Just from your smile. No? What's the question?
The question?
You have question?
No, I'm just saying.
You put me, I'm not a Kohen. Even you can be the most righteous person in the world, if you're not a Kohen, you're not a Kohen. You cannot buy it with money. There's nothing you can do. But it gets better. Listen carefully. Shh. Speaking about Rabbi Elazar ben Charsom, the Gemara say, when a person dies, his trial begins. There are 3 kinds of typical people. One is very poor, like most of us today. In this generation, almost everyone falls in this category. Second category, very, very wealthy. Very wealthy. And the third one is people who are in love with themselves. They stand in front of the mirror half an hour every morning and half an hour before they go to sleep. I heard there are some ladies that before they go to sleep, they put makeup. So I thought maybe they're righteous, they want to be with their husband, so they want to be pretty to their husband. But then I heard that they do it even when the husband is in business trip. At one point it became a sickness already. Once I had a lecture and one girl was annoying me constantly the entire lecture. She got very upset that I said that the only reason that the ladies wearing what they wear today and the makeup that they put today is for the men to look at them, that they're able to make scenes with them. That's what happened today in the world. She got very angry. So she said, I put makeup and I get dressed when I go to the supermarket, not like you say for Vinny and for Tony. No, I want to feel good with myself. I was complaining, why all these religious girls, when the husband comes home after a tiring day at work, they look like a shmate. They have a potato sack on them. They're already everywhere in the shmate on the hair. It's like this, in the house, she's not exactly paying attention to her beauty. But when she now has to go, she forgot some tomatoes, so she has to run to the store. All of a sudden, she put her wig, she fixed her face, she go that what's his name, Jose and Amigo, will see that she showed up. So I said, what's going on here? It should be the opposite. If a husband come home, if she's wearing a wig, at least put it for your husband. What for Jose and Amigo? So she said, I do it to feel good with myself. So I asked her, let's be honest. Let's say, God forbid, you be on a plane and the plane lands, some emergency landing in an island, and you are the only survivor, and now you're alone there with the monkeys and the elephant and the cheetahs. How long exactly every morning you would put to fix your beauty and your hair and your spray and all these things that you put with your mirror? What? Would you do it? So she said, no. I said, what, for the monkeys? They can care less. So you see that you're only doing it for the men on the street? If you do it to feel good with yourself, then you do it even if they put you in a box. They put you in a shoebox and close it. Still put it because you want to feel good with yourself, no? How do you feel good with yourself? You have to feel good with yourself anywhere you are. But over here, it's only for the men. Sometimes it's come from the subconscious. They don't even realize that they do it for the men. They don't. But some ladies, I know few, they'll never dare to become beauty before they leave their house for the people on the street. The opposite. Try to attract as less attention as possible. But when they come to the house, when the husband come home, they're ready with the dinner, with the beautiful look, with perfume for the husband. Very nice. Kosher woman. Anyway, so there are 3 categories of people. Very rich, very poor, and very handsome. that looking to make sins every night somewhere else. That's the three categories that the Gemara describe. You decide in which one of them you belong. So now, the Gemara gives an example. A poor person died, he come to Hashem, to the trial. Hashem say, why didn't you follow the Torah? Why didn't you learn Torah? What's going on with you? How could I learn? I was so poor. I'm running to find a job every day. I cannot bring you money to pay my children tuition. How can I be righteous? I have to work like a slave. Right away, Hashem turned the VCR on. I should say the DVD or the new thing. What's the new thing? Blu-ray. Hashem has a good Blu-ray over there. Don't worry. High definition. High definition. You even feel your heartbeat at the time you made the scenes. Over there, they have a stereo system. You know? So anyway, so Hashem turns the movie on, and he show you Hillel HaZaken, the president of Israel, so poor he couldn't afford to pay admission to enter the yeshiva to learn Torah. It used to cost money. So he froze almost to death on the roof of the yeshiva when it was very heavy snow there in the north of Israel, in the Galilee, just not to miss one shiur. And in the end, the rabbis turned the fire on for him on Shabbat to save his life. They say he deserved for us to be mechalel Shabbat for him. Pikuach nefesh. Right away after you see Hillel, how poor he was, and he never missed one day of Torah, you say, Hashem, I'm sorry for the nonsense I just said. Case is closed. Then, if you're very wealthy, what do you say? You say, Hashem, I have 65,000 employees. How exactly you wanted me to sit and learn a few hours? Every second SMS, beeper, telephone, another telephone. I have no time to go to the bathroom. You want me to sit and learn Torah? Right away, they turn the VCR on, the DVD, and who do they see? A person named Elazar ben Charsom. He was Kohen Gadol for 11 years in Bet HaMikdash. But before he became Kohen Gadol, his father's name was Charsom. Charsom was the richest guy in the land. Billionaire. Top. How billionaire? Bill Gates was a puppet compared to him. How do I know? Because the Gemara describes what he left for his son. He left him 1,000 huge boats full of merchandise in the ocean. 1,000 boats full of any good that you can think of. Rugs, Persian rugs, diamonds, gold, vegetables, food, you name it. That was only the tip. And 1,000 cities full of markets, real estate. Thousands of people were paying him rent and taxes. His father left it for his son, Charsom, Elazar. Charsom left it for his son, Elazar. Guess what he did? He took a bag full of flowers. Flour, it's bread, you need to eat. It's a little money to put, for the way. He left everything to the workers. Say, do whatever you want with that. I don't have time to run this empire. I'm going to learn Torah. I'm not interested in all this. What? It's going to kill me. Go here, a meeting over there, export, import, IRS coming, audit. I don't have time for this. Let me go learn Torah. He takes a bag and he walks. While he's going to yeshiva to learn Torah, he's passing through a city that belongs to his father. But nobody knows that he's the new boss. Remember, there was no internet. You Google the name and right away you see his picture. It was different days. Different days. Father left it to his son. They never saw the son. A young guy in his 20s. He walked with a bag of flour, simple clothes. He goes to yeshiva. Then they pull him over. They say, hey, where do you think you're going? Don't you know there's an order from one of the managers in this town today? Everybody has to come and volunteer to make a new road. There was rocks on the road. How they used to make roads? They used to bring people. They move the rocks to the side. They try to make it as straight as possible for the horses to pass by. That's how it was. You have to work. Join us. Now, what would happen today if something like this happened? Right away, pull his ID. Hey, get out of here before it's going to be the last day you ever breathe. Just get out of here. No, he was humble. He said, listen, I'm in a way to learn Torah. I said, we all want to learn Torah. What, you the only one who wants to learn Torah? Come help us that we can all go learn Torah. So he had some money. He took some of the money, he bribed them. Here, take, you take, you take. You work for me. Here is for you, here is for you. Let me go learn Torah. And he went and learned Torah. After the rich person see such a thing, he said, Hashem, I'm very sorry that I even say something. I didn't know there are people like this in your world. The case is closed. And those who were handsome, they say, Hashem, how do you want me to be righteous? Look at my phone book. 500 phone numbers. I'm confused. Sometimes I call a girl, I call her with a different name. I forgot. With all my sins. Hashem say, oh yeah? The VCR goes on. Yosef HaTzadik walks. All the ladies in Egypt with their nice cotton, Egyptian cotton, clothes, outfit, falling on the street just to see his face. Because he was so handsome, they never saw such a handsome man like this. And young. They said, look at this guy, he came to Egypt, he's walking by the palace of Potiphar, you never saw such a thing. He walks, they all fall on the floor, and he was like this, not to make a scene. Finally he gets to the house, one of the most four beautiful ladies ever live. She's tempting him. And he's fighting with his Yetzer Hara. He doesn't have his father, his family. Think about the test here. In his 17 years old, whatever he was. Very difficult. The Midrash said that one time Eshet Potiphar, she couldn't stop talking about him. She's married, but her husband is busy with the kingdom of Egypt. So she talks to her friend as they playing cards. What handsome servant we have. So they all tell her, are you crazy? How handsome he can be? You don't stop talking about him. So the rich people used to eat etrogim. How do you say etrog in English? Citron? Citron? With N in the end? Citron? Sounds like Citroën, French car. All right, Citron. So they in the old days used to be very sweet and juicy. What happened to the CDs? This CD wants a customer already. Anyway, so they used to eat citron, so they cut it. As soon as he walked through the door, the Midrash say they were so shocked that they cut their fingers off. That's how handsome he was. So they show the guy, Yosef HaTzadik, what's going on, and he walks like this in the street. So the guy said, Hashem, here, take my phone book, I'm very sorry. No further questions, no further complaints. This is Elazar ben Charsom, 11 years Kohen Gadol in a second temple. In the time of Shimon HaTzadik, who was the leader in the world? Who was the head of the Goyim? Alexander Mokdon, Alexandros. You heard about him, right? Half of the world called Alex. Right? Half of Russia, you say Alex, 150 million Russia say Spasiva. How do you say ha? What? In Russian? Huh? Что? Что? Хорошо. Anyway, it's a shame. I'm so many years with the Bukhari and I don't know two words in Russian. Huh? It's your fault, Becho. He never taught me. Anyway, so Shimon HaTzadik, in his time, there were Goyim that lives in Har HaGrizim. Their name is Kutim. Kutim. Until today, they have Shomronim there. They have Karaim there. This is people who came out of Jews, but they became like a cult. They don't believe in Yorah laws. They modify the Torah sometimes. It's called Kutim. Kutim, like a Goy. The Kutim, they hate the Jews. So they send a messenger to Alexander Mokdon. They say, you know what, why should we fight with the Jews? We don't have the strength. Let the king come and destroy Jerusalem. How do we do it? Let's instigate between Alexander Mokdon to the people of Israel. So they send a messenger to Alexander Mokdon. They say, the Jews are cursing you every day in a temple. They pray for your destruction. And you don't do anything about it? What kind of king you are? You don't need more than that. Right away, smoke started to come from his ears and from his nose. And right away took his army and started to march toward Jerusalem. The rumor came to Israel. One person saw them coming from far away, runs to them, rabbis, our end is coming. A heavy army with horses and swords, and they're all coming here to destroy us. Shimon HaTzadik right away, he took all the little young Kohanim, and they all wore white kilts, and they had torches, lit with fire. They all came to welcome him. When the soldiers saw that all these Jews comes, they all wear white with fire, so they say, why are you coming here? What do you want? So, as soon as Alexander Mokdon saw Shimon HaTzadik, he came off his horse and bowed down to him in front of all the surprised soldiers. They say, Your Majesty, you bowing down to this Jew? What's going on here? So he say, every time I go to attack a new country, I have a vision. I see an holy man all my years, and after that I know I win the war and I'm very successful. And all of a sudden I see him in person. He's the one. He's the Kohen Gadol of the world. It's the most important person. So Hashem showed this guy, before he goes to occupy another land, an image of a person in Bet HaMikdash. He doesn't know what it is. All of a sudden he see, hey, here's the one in my visions. So he says, the Jew says to them, do you really think that we will do such a thing? We pray every time in our shuls, in our temple, for the success of the king of the world. That your kingdom should last as long as possible. But they are interested to destroy us, so they make stories. So, you coming to destroy our temple when we are praying for you every day and we sacrifice cows every holiday of Sukkot, 70 cows for all the nations of the world? So when they hear that, they say, you know what, in that case, I'm giving you permission to do to the Kutim whatever you want. They went and destroyed them all. There was a real celebration. Finally, all these traders were all destroyed, with permission of Alexander Mokdon. Then he came to Bet HaMikdash. Now they're giving him a tour in Bet HaMikdash to Alexander Mokdon. He comes inside, they go up the stairs, they get closer to Kodesh HaKodashim. Kodesh HaKodashim, no one is allowed to enter, only Shimon HaTzadik, nobody else. This guy is about to step in. So Alexander told him, he didn't say, you are not allowed in. He didn't want to offend him. He said, we are not allowed to enter that room. Nobody in the world allowed to enter this room. So he said, okay, I accept it, but I want to put my statue right next to this room. I want to put my statue. That's the way they were. They like to put their statues everywhere. So he told him, in the Torah it says that we are not allowed to have any statues and any pictures and any image. But I have a better idea. Now you're going to understand why half of the world called Alex or Alexandra. He said, what's your idea, Rabbi? He said, this year I'm going to make a law that every Jewish baby that will be born will be called after you, Alexander. His eyes almost came out, this Mokdon. He said, you know what? Your idea is much better than mine. What's a statue compared to such an honor? He hugged him, and he left him, and that's how Bet HaMikdash got saved at that time, from his wisdom, Shimon HaTzadik. And then they called everyone Alexander. Alexander, and now you understand why you go everywhere, you have Alexander everywhere. That's where it started. That's where it started. The Gemara say, pay attention, the Gemara in Yoma, page Lametet, page 39. 40 years Shimon HaTzadik was Kohen Gadol. Every Yom Kippur, they make a lottery between two goats. Korban echad LaHashem, Korban echad LaAzazel, right? So they make like a lottery. They have a special piece, it's called Lashon Shel Zeorit. If it becomes white, it's a sign that Hashem is forgiving our sin in this Yom Kippur. Every time in the lottery, the right goat was to Hashem. The right is the positive side, the left is the negative side. 40 years in a row, always the right one is going to Hashem, the left one going to Azazel. They pushing him from the cliff to die. And all the sins goes on him. And every year, the white piece, all the piece become all white. Every year. When the Kohen pushed the goat out of the cliff, and it's a sign that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave a nation of Israel a complete forgiveness. The western candle in the menorah lit from one evening to the other, even though there's the same amount of oil like all the other 6, but this one is special. It has a miracle. It lasts until the following night when they come to add more oil. Every year for 40 years, the miracle never stopped for one day. Then, when they need to bring pieces to the ma'aracha for the fire, pieces of wood, they never needed. Except the 2 pieces that is mandatory, they never had to add more pieces. And there was a blessing in a Omer, that's the Korban HaOmer that we do in Pesach, and the Shtei HaLechem, the 2 pieces of bread, and Lechem HaPanim. And after the death of Shimon HaTzadik, immediately all these miracles stopped right away. That's how holy this person was for 40 years. You know, it's very interesting. One guest, he went to hotel in the city of Lomja. Can we do it later now? Excuse me. Not now, after the lecture. No, I cannot do it in the middle of the lecture. Shh, not now, please. So, the guest in the city of Lamja, he comes to the hotel, he stayed there for a few days, and then he forgot his watch and his wallet under the pillow. Okay. So, when he comes back to the hotel, the owner of the hotel denies that he saw it. I'm sorry, you didn't leave here anything. I don't know anything. He went to Rav Chaim Meisel from Lodz. Listen to this story. He said, Rabbi, I know I left it there. I know. But he claimed he never found it. But he's the only one who has the key to the room. I gave him the key. So he says, okay, bring him to court. Bring him to the Beis Din. As they sitting in front of the rabbi in Beis Din, the liar, the crook, take his tobacco powder. You know, they used to have tobacco that they put in the nose. There are many old people until this day they do it in Israel. They put it and they sneeze. So he takes his tobacco in a beautiful silver box. He puts inside, you know. So the rabbi, the judge, said, oh, I love this tobacco. Can I use some? So he gives him the box. So as they talk, he asks him questions. He uses a little bit from the tobacco. In the meantime, the guy forgot about the tobacco already. They argue, he put it on the table. He called up one of his students. He said, take this tobacco and run to the house of the owner of this hotel, knock on his door, tell his wife, your husband sent me to bring the wallet with all the money and the watch that the person left in the hotel and the sign that he really sent me, that he gave me his personal tobacco box as a sign. Run. The guy, after 10 minutes, he comes back with the wallet and the watch, and the rabbi said, you can have your tobacco back. He gave it to him. And everybody found out what this guy is. They were very clever. They sit inside the court, this is how it goes. You know, I have a good story before we finish. You know, everybody in the world, every Jewish person, when you ask him who was the most wealthy Jews in the old days, like 90 years ago, 100 years ago, who was, all over the world there were a few very wealthy Jews. One of them was Moshe Montefiore, that donate tons of money to Jerusalem and they build all the neighborhoods. And one banker, his name was Meir Enshin Rothschild. Until this day, this family is very wealthy. Rothschild. You heard about Rothschild or no? How did it start? In Hebrew, you say Rothschild. In English, they say Rothschild. How do I know? I heard. I heard one American say Rothschild. I got it. Jewish, religious Jew. Listen to this story. It's very nice. So Rothschild was working for Rabbi Tzvi Hirsch Horowitz, the head of the Jewish court in the city of Dortkov. And he had a young servant. What's the name of the servant? Meir Anshel Rothschild. When he was a teenager. For a few years he served the rabbi. He cleans the place. He brings water from the well, you know. After a few years that he served him faithfully, one day when they checked the house for chametz, the rabbi opened up his stand there has a drawer. A wallet with 500 coins of gold disappeared. A bag full of money that he was saving for his daughter's marriage for years. Another coin. Hop, it's gone. They all get very upset. Erev Chag, you have to do Leila Seder tomorrow, and you cannot find your money. Very disturbing. What can they do? A month later, the servant quit. Sounds suspicious, no? You don't need the job anymore? A week later, he gets married. He has money for marriage. Very nice. A week later, he opened up a grocery store. What's going on here? So the kids of Rabbi Horowitz say, Rabbi, Abba, with all the respect, don't you understand what happened here? He is the one who stole the money. And look, he has for business, for marriage, for house. He has a house already. So the rabbis say you're not allowed to suspect people that have a certainty of kashrut. They consider decent. You cannot just make up because it looks suspicious. They don't have a record. So they constantly drill in his head. It's him, you know. After a while, he couldn't take this anymore. So they say, we beg you, go and talk to him. Maybe he will make tshuva. Maybe he will make repentance. Go. So he went to his store, and he said, Reb Meir, you know, you served me faithfully for a few years. Something is disturbing me. Maybe you know something about it. He didn't come and say to him, did you steal it? He said, maybe you know something about it. I had a wallet with 500 coins of gold and disappeared Erev Pesach. And since then I have a lot of problems with my family. And maybe you know something. You know, you were in my house. Did you see something? Rothschild right away got the hint. And he said, oh, sure. I'm glad you came. I stole it. I took it. And I'm glad you came because I took it and now I'm starting to have some savings. But don't worry, I'm going to pay you all back. He got up from his chair. He went to his drawer. He took 200 coins of gold. He gave it to him. See, this is up front. I still owe you 300. Every month I'll give you some. In a few months we'll be through with the loan. The rabbi was so happy. Wow, finally he has money now to marry his daughter. He said, oh, I forgive you, no problem. I'm glad you made tshuva. He hugs him and he goes home. After about few months after, as he's paying him every month the money, one goy finished work. What does a goy do on Friday night when he finishes work on the way to his home? Go to the bar. Very good. So he goes to the bar. He wants to have some cerveza. Amigo, one cerveza. Cerveza. They want to be, happy hour. So now he goes to the bar to drink. But in the old days, who goes to the bar? People that have money. Not everyone can afford to drink liquor or beer or whiskey. It was for a place for important people that have money. The servant couldn't go. Now everybody knows this guy and his wife, they are cleaning lady, cleaning guy. All of a sudden he gives the barman 1 coin of gold, which was a fortune. It's like, imagine like $1,000 today. You come, you have $1,000 bill, you come to the bar, you're the cleaning guy from the street, you give him $1,000, give me a beer. So the barman asked him, hey, brother, where you got this from? So he told him, I got lucky. I walk on the street and I found it on the street. So they drink together, you know. So, no, the next day, he's thirsty. He wants to drink again. So he comes, he puts another coin of gold. He said, wow, how do you got this one? He said, I know it's hard to believe, but I also found it in the street. Few days later, he shows up again in a bar. Another coin of gold. This guy say, what, he's fooling me, this guy? Once, twice, no, 3 times. Forget about it. He probably had a robbery or something. This barman, in different hours, has a friend that is a policeman. He's working in a police station. The policeman come to have cerveza. He asked him, hey, Tony, there's a guy here, Jose, every night he comes here, he gives me a coin of gold. I ask him where you get it. He said, I found it on the street. What do you think I should do? Now, in the old days, when people tell about the robbers and the thieves, they get a prize from the police. So he wants to get the prize. So Tony says to him, next time when he comes, make sure he drinks a lot. Put some whiskey in his beer. You know, they had a barrel. So you put the beer. Make sure you give him a lot of whiskey. After he's going to be dizzy, we'll get the truth out of him. So Jose came. This time the barman was extra generous. That reminds me about a good joke. One guy, a cowboy with his horse, he came to the bar to drink. He's drinking, he's happy. After an hour, when he's, finishes drinking, he goes out, he sees his horse is gone. He comes back into the bar, everyone is drinking, dancing. He shoots in the air. Pah! All the CDs falls. He shoots, no problem. Silence in 1 second. Silence. So, everybody looks at him. He says, hey, if I go out in a minute and I don't find my horse, don't let me do what I just did the other day in Texas when my horse gone. Don't let me do it. I got very nervous. So they say, okay, relax, sit, have another beer. Then he comes out, he sees his horse is in the same place. So he gets on a horse, about to leave. So the guy screams, hey, you're not going to tell us what you did in Texas? He said, I had to walk 10 miles in a heat all the way home. So anyway. So, the guy, after he drank so much, is dizzy now. He said, yeah, come on, brother. You're not telling me I'm giving you so much whiskey free of charge. Tell me how you get all these coins of gold. He said, I'll tell you the secret, but don't tell anyone. My wife worked for that Jewish rabbi. She stole the whole thing from his drawer. And we have 500 of these. Don't worry, every week you see me here. I'm a good customer. As soon as he confessed, right away Tony came with his handcuffs. They put him in. The police came to his home. They found 497 coins of gold. And they came to the rabbi. They knock on the door. The wife and the daughter opens up. The police, they got nervous. What can we do for you? This belongs to you, right? You recognize it? Yes. Wow. Now they know that Rothschild is paying them the money. They got surprised. What's going on here? So this guy is the husband of this girl. She's working for you. She stole the money. She's arrested. Oh, now we understand why she's not coming to clean for a few days. So he got all the money. So the rabbi ran right away to his student, Rothschild. So how is it? Why did you confess about a sin, a crime that you never made? So he said to him, when you came to me and I saw the pain in your face that you saved all this money for your daughter's wedding, I said that I must give you the money. Now, if I'll tell you, no, I didn't steal it, but I'll give you the money, you wouldn't accept from me. I know you. You wouldn't accept tzedakah from me. So I had to tell you that I stole it. What difference does it make, my honor or not? As long as you get the money for your daughter's wedding. From that moment, later he says that everything he touched became gold. And became the richest person in the world. The richest banker in the whole world. From a grocery store, 10 years later, the richest banker in the world. You know what we're talking here about? Think about it. Sometimes we have a test of a moment. Hashem gives us the test, $100, $500. We give the money, our life will never be the same. We don't give, also our life will never be the same, but to the negative side. You never know. I'm telling you. I always say to myself, when I made the first movie 11 years ago, Divine Information, it was video cassette, there was no CDs yet, no DVDs, 11 years ago. Maybe they just started to come out, but there was a big video cassette, the price was $1 each, because we ordered 20,000, so they gave us a very cheap price, $1 each in a beautiful box, with pictures. I came to one guy from Queens. I told him, it was a wealthy guy, I told him I usually don't ever talk to people about donations, but I told the guy, so anxious already to give thousands of them out, I told him, why don't you be my partner on this mitzvah? You help me to make these video cassettes, and we give them to all the not religious people. They're going to start waking up. So he said, okay, I'll donate 1,500 of them. So he gave a check, $1,500. Right away, from the 20,000 that they prepared, they were preparing them in installment, not in one shot. Right away, they shipped, it was in Lakewood, they shipped from Lakewood to my garage. You know, it takes a lot of room. Not like today, look, you have 50 DVDs, you can put them in your jacket. 50 video cassette was the whole box. Well, they sent boxes, 1,500 was a lot of boxes. One of the cassettes I gave to one Israeli-American Jew. He's American, was born in America, in Vegas. He watched it. They made me a lecture in their place. This tape traveled to his family, to his brother, to his sister, to his parents. 17 Jews became fully Orthodox, keeping every mitzvah that you can think of from this $1. That is from the 1,500, $1. $1 from his 1,500 made 17 Jews religious. Each one of them has 2, 3, or 4 children today. It's becoming like 30 or 40 religious Jews. In 20 years from now, it's going to be 80, Be'ezrat Hashem. In 50 years from now, it's going to be 300. In 1,000 years from now, it's going to be 1,000,000 Jews that keep mitzvot. All goes to this guy that wrote the check. No, isn't it to win the lottery? I want to tell you something. I'm a little embarrassed to say it, but I say it only to wake up our Jewish brothers and sisters. We know the economy is not so great. We're struggling already for 2 years. We know it. The whole world is like this. Almost. At this moment, it's a shame on us because we have an obligation. The Goyim don't have an obligation to donate money to make CDs, to make Jews religious. It's not their obligation. It's a privilege for them. At this moment, I get few donations for people on the website, through the PayPal, the credit card. I don't exaggerate, but at least 80% of the donations come from Goyim. Goyim. They send me also nice letters. Please save as many brothers, Jewish brothers and sisters, return them to God. I'm honored to be a part of this mitzvah, and I have tears when I read it. Because when I come to all these millionaire Jews, that some of them I made religious, they were worse than Goyim in their lifestyle, they don't give a penny. Some of them, some give a little bit. And I say to myself, what is going on here? It's hard to believe. How can it be? How can it be? Doesn't make sense. You have sometimes billionaires, people that, the business is not as great as it used to be. So instead of $1 billion a year, he makes 300 million. Tragedy. Poor guy. They won't help. Yeah. I give you an example. Before I came here, one guy that I know for 10 years. 10 years he's bragging about his wealth. I don't tell you names, so you don't know who I'm talking about. 10 years he's bragging about his companies, his businesses. He has 20 different emails with different company names, each email. Very wealthy guy. Very wealthy, believe me, very wealthy. According to what he claims, at least. So, we speak. He asked me a lot of questions. I had to give him an email address of some website on my way here, on the phone. So as we speak, he tells me, I made my new DVD. It's the first time I brought. I don't have that many. I only had 50 that I made. I don't have any more. I don't have the budget yet. B'ezrat Hashem, in the next few days, I'll raise some money. We'll make a few thousands. But I don't have that many. That's why I keep them by me. Now you understand why I keep them by the stander and not putting them as usual on a chair? I put them on a chair. They're gone in a minute. I don't have. They're very precious yet because I don't have any. That's all I have. It's a new one. We made a whole new Torah and Science 4-hour seminars with pictures and videos in English. So I was telling him about this. So he said, come to my house. He lives in Queens somewhere here, in a nice neighborhood. Why don't you come after the lecture to my house and give me a copy? I'll help you to do a lot. I don't know how I had the nerve, but for my pain, I answer him, I know you for 10 years. You didn't give me 1 penny in 10 years, even though you know me and you brag about what I do to the whole world. You never gave me $1. You want me now to come to you after the lecture? Because I told him that after this lecture, I have a meeting in Manhattan at 11:30 at night, trying to raise money to make the CDs. So he told me, don't go over there. Come to me. So I told him, over there's a chance to get some money to make some CDs tomorrow morning. Why would I come to you? I have a meeting. He said, I guarantee you, if you come to me before 11:30 tonight, I'm giving you 1,000 CDs. I don't give you the money in your hand tonight. But I promise you, I give you my word, 1,000 DVDs I sponsor. I'll hand you 1,000 DVDs. So I say, okay, great, sounds good. So instead of talking to people after the lecture, I will rush right away to you. I'll be by you half an hour, and then I drive quickly to Manhattan. So I say to him, okay, what's your address? He said, okay, I'll text it to you. That was 3 hours ago. I'm still waiting for the text. You understand what's going on? How strong is the Satan, the Yetzer Hara against this? Why? Just because of what I told you before. Maybe this person, with all the respect to him, I don't know who he is, righteous, wicked, very righteous, not so, only Hashem knows. You cannot give marks to people. But maybe it doesn't have the merit that from these 1,000 DVDs, for sure, it's going to be 50 Shomrei Shabbos. For sure, without a question. I know the statistic. Maybe Hashem doesn't want him to get such a gift. Because every mitzvah they do goes to his account for eternity. They, their children, you know what the deal? What the deal? So the text didn't come. Let's double check. I don't want to be a liar. I got some text. I'm getting nervous. No, it's not him. Yeah, that's what's going on. You got it?
Maybe he has a service.
Well, give him the benefits of the doubt. Maybe he fell asleep. I don't know. Maybe at cerveza. Okay, time is running out. One more story and I send you home. I know you like stories. It's been a long time since I told you a story. So, One servant who works for a very wealthy guy, 2 Jews. One is the owner of the mansion, one is a servant. And the rich people used to make wine in their basements, in barrels. That's how it used to be. You know, it was hard to get wine, so they made wine. So the servant, working there for a few years, he saved 200 coins of gold. That's what he saved over the years. Where was he hiding his wallet with all the money? Where? In between the barrels of the wine. You know, you have many barrels of wine in rows. So he moved few barrels. He goes in the middle, he puts it on the floor, he puts something on it, and he pushes back the barrels, and I'm the one who takes care of the wine. So nobody has access there. But he didn't know that the owner of the mansion, somehow he saw that he hid his wallet over there. He didn't know. Thank you. He didn't know that. The next day, he come to add one more coin to the wallet. It's gone. Ah, poor guy. Imagine you work for a few years, you save all your money, and one day you come, it's gone. What a punishment. That happens sometimes. I knew once a guy that was working in a moving company, and he was the driver, and he works on Shabbat. Israeli guy, came from Israel to save money here for a few months. I told him, don't work on Shabbat. There's no blessing. Don't work on Shabbat. At least Shabbat stop. Don't work on Shabbat. No, I'm only a few more months and I'm done. I go back to Israel. I'll start keeping Shabbat there. A week before his ticket is due to go to Israel, he drives this big semi-trailer with full of merchandise, furnitures, on the Jersey Turnpike. They have places that the trucks can go into the gas stations, and they have bathrooms there and restaurants. He goes to sit in a restaurant. All his money, he didn't have a bank account because he's on the road. Every week he's in a different state. So he carry all the cash on his stomach. He has a belt. The tourists, how they have all the money. All the money, it's in his belt. He sleeps with that, everything. He went to the bathroom. When he was sitting over there, he fell from him and he didn't realize. $10,000 cash inside. He gets on the semi-trailer. He drives. After maybe 5 miles, he goes like this. The Gemara says a person that has money in his pocket, every few minutes or an hour or two, he checks the money. That's how you know that if you find money on the streets, it's yours. You don't have to say, hey, I found some money. Anybody who lost money, come tell me the amount. Why? Because as soon as they find out that they lost the money, they give up. Once they give up, it's like becoming hefker. You can take it and it's yours. But if it's something like this wallet, it has a sign, it has names, it has writing inside. It can be described. So if you lose this, you don't give hope. Because if somebody found it, you can still come and give him some signs and he can give it back to you. So because you're still hoping to get it back, he cannot take it if he found it. He has to give it back. But something that doesn't have signs, like money, once you find it, is yours. Even if it's the area is all religious Jews, you found $100 on the street, you got it, it's yours. So why? Because as soon as he lost it, 5 minutes later, he already checked his wallet, don't worry, or his pocket. It's true. Person always checking. If he has a passport on the way to the airport, every 5 minutes he checks the passport didn't fall, right? I do it and I still lose it. I check every 5 minutes. All of a sudden somebody screams, somebody lost passport here. I just checked. I forget the tickets. They call me. One time a guy ran after me the entire terminal. Why? I left the boarding pass over there. I go to the place. I don't have. He runs. You forgot it. Anyway, the poor guy, by the time he realized that he lost the money, now go and take a semi-trailer and make a U-turn in the Jersey Turnpike. He has to continue to drive another miles and miles, and it's a truck until he got to a place. He got off the exit. He came to the other side. By the time he got to the bathroom, the money is gone. So when he came to the seminar, he stood with a microphone and he said, all the money that I made on Shabbat, all together for 6 months, $10,000. Everything is gone. The rest of the money he bought things. Some he sent to Israel. This is exactly what he calculated, all the money that he made on Shabbat. So the guy was hiding 200 coins, and the boss came and stole it. Now they go to the court, to the Beis Din. The rabbi asks him, did you steal the money? He said, God forbid, I'll steal for my own worker. Please, he's begging him, you have a lot of money, I don't have anything, have mercy on me, give me back the money. He said, I'm sorry, what are you blaming me? I didn't steal it. So he said to the rabbi, Rabbi, he's the only one who has access to the basement. It's only me and him in the house. Nobody goes down. So the rabbi told him, okay, listen, I really didn't believe it's you. Such a respectable person like you will steal the wallet from his worker. It never occurred even in my mind that it could be that it's you. But I'm a judge, I have to listen to what he say. That's why we bother you to come. But since it's not him, the only other option is it's the cleaning lady, the Goya, that come to clean the house. She stole it. It has to be her. If it's not you, it's not him, it has to be the Goya. That's why I have to announce that all the barrels of wine in your basement are all not kosher. Because when the Goy move the wine, it's all become yain nesech. There's hundreds of barrels, thousands of dollars each, tons of wine, handmade. Everything is yain nesech. $100,000 damage. So the guy started to scream, no, Rabbi, give me 5 minutes. So he brings the wallet. So the rabbi say, you really deserve that it's still going to be yain nesech, but this time we'll have mercy on you, because you made tshuva. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.